I never thought bombing my constitutional law class would lead to the HOA president getting hauled away in cuffs. But here we are. One minute I am on the porch flipping through flashcards, the next there's a police cruiser in our driveway, and Mrs. Lorna Haynes is screaming at my tutor like he just robbed the place. And when I say screaming, I mean full-on meltdown phone, out finger-jabbing his chest, shouting something about unauthorized presence on HOA property like she's the sheriff of some made-up town. But Mr. Whitaker, he just stood there calm as ever, like he'd seen it all before, which turns out he had. "Ma'am," he said, reaching into his coat pocket. "I've been invited here, and for what it's worth, I am the law." He flashed a wallet, opened it slowly, and boom, judicial credentials plain as day. That's when Lorna's face lost all its color. I swear she aged 5 years in 5 seconds. But let me back up a sec. 3 months earlier, I was drowning in pre-law coursework. My dream had always been to follow my grandpa into the legal field. But law school wasn't just tough. It was brutal. My grades were slipping, and my confidence was basically non-existent. That's when Dad's coworker mentioned Judge Howard Whitaker, retired, brilliant, and occasionally tutoring students who showed promise. I didn't feel like I showed much promise back then, but my parents reached out, and Mr. Whitaker agreed to help. From day one, he was patient, insightful, and sharp in a way that made complex legal concepts feel human. And from day one, Lorna was watching. You could see her peeking from behind her curtains, clutching her phone like it was a weapon. She didn't like unfamiliar faces in Meadow Ridge, especially not ones she hadn't approved. She approached my mom the next morning with that signature fake smile, pretending to check her mail. "So, who's the man in the beige sedan?" she asked. My mom, bless her, replied kindly. "He's tutoring my daughter for her law finals." That tight smile tightened even more. "Well, you know, we have procedures for visitors. Just keeping the neighborhood safe." Safe. This woman once fined a family for leaving a beach towel on their porch overnight. She rewrote the community guidelines to include stuff like acceptable mailbox paint colors and banned gnome designs. Her idea of safety was keeping the neighborhood exactly the way she wanted it under her thumb. As my grades improved, so did her surveillance. First, it was drive-bys in her golf cart, then blocking his car by inspecting the curb, then full-blown photographing us from across the street. When my dad asked her to stop, she claimed she was documenting suspicious activity. Right. A retired judge and a 22-year-old flipping through law books. Super dangerous. She even started emailing the neighborhood watch group, warning about unlicensed professionals running illegal businesses out of their homes. She left flyers in mailboxes about scams and identity theft, total fear-mongering. And of course, they were vague enough to technically not name anyone, but we all knew who they were about. Then came the day it all blew up. It was a sunny Tuesday, and Mr. Whitaker and I had moved our study session to the backyard. We were deep into a case about judicial precedent when I heard the gate creak open. I turned, and there she was, Lorna Haynes, phone in hand, marching toward us like she had a badge and a warrant. "This has gone on long enough," she snapped. "I have evidence of ongoing unauthorized activity, and as HOA president, I am ordering you to leave immediately." She was recording us waving her phone around like we were criminals. Mr. Whitaker didn't react. He just calmly closed the book, stood up, and said, "Ma'am, I've been invited to this home. I'm tutoring this young woman on constitutional law. Nothing more, nothing less. But Lorna wasn't having it. She got in his face, voice rising, accusing him of trespassing, saying she didn't believe he was who he said he was. Then, and I swear I still can't believe this, she reached out and grabbed his arm. That's when everything flipped. "Ma'am," he said. Voice suddenly firm, commanding like a gavel striking a bench. "You are now physically assaulting me. I am Judge Howard Whitaker, formerly of the State Circuit Court. I suggest you remove your hand immediately." My mom had started filming the moment Lorna stepped through the gate, and now she stepped forward. Camera raised, capturing it all. Lorna stuttered, took a step back. Tried to say his ID could be fake, but she was unraveling. Mr. Whitaker held his badge up to the camera. "They're very real, and as of this moment, you are trespassing." She didn't argue. She left muttering, red-faced, humiliated. But we weren't done. From his car, Mr. Whitaker called a few people. Later that night, he explained to my parents that her behavior had crossed a legal line: harassment, intimidation, now physical assault. With their permission, he filed a formal complaint. And Lorna, she thought she'd get away with it like she always did. She'd bullied half the street over fence colors and grass-length threatened lawsuits that never came, made up rules on the spot, just to feel powerful. But this time, she picked the wrong target. 3 days later, around 5:00 p.m., just as everyone was pulling into their driveways, a uniformed officer served her at her doorstep. Word spread like wildfire. Suddenly, her little emergency HOA meeting had no attendees, board members ghosted her neighbors, crossed the street to avoid her. Then came the real climax. She was setting up for her weekly garden club pitcher of lemonade, folding chairs, the whole Martha Stewart vibe, when 2 officers showed up. They didn't even hesitate. One read her rights, while the other cuffed her. "This is outrageous!" she screamed. "I'm protecting our community." Her gardening friends froze, eyes wide, as she thrashed and flailed. Do you know how many violations they've had? Their sprinkler timer was off last week. No one said a word. She was charged with harassment, unauthorized entry, and simple assault. The judge, not Whitaker, who recused himself, was especially harsh, calling it a gross misuse of power under the guise of community leadership. She got 2 years of probation, a $5,000 fine, and was ordered to complete 100 hours of community service. Ironic, since she'd spent the last few years pretending to serve the community anyway. At the emergency HOA vote that followed, she was removed unanimously. When the decision was announced, she stood up, shaking, eyes wild. "You can't do this to me! I am Meadow Ridge!" And just like that, someone clapped. Then another. And then the whole room. It wasn't loud. It was slow. Quiet. Final. She stormed out. And that was that. So yeah, my grades are solid now. Better than ever. But the best part, watching a woman who thought she was the law get brought down by someone who actually knows the law. Now, here's what I want to know, have you ever dealt with an HOA president who took things way too far? Was justice served here, or was this too much? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I have a feeling stories like this are just the beginning.